What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video, we're going to talk about probably the best free champion that we can get in this entire game, maybe ever. And that's going to be Marius, the super horse from the Skinwalkers here. And Marius has like impressed me to no end. This guy is so insanely good. He's at the end of the Marius missions, which is a recent bit of content that Playerm added about a year ago, I think, by now. But Marius is such an insane champion to get as a reward. It's even, in my opinion, now after using him for a couple months, he's even better than Mithrala, which I had held in super high regard for a super long time, because Mithrala gives basically like free to play players access to a champion that can, you can gear them up with over 1,000 resistance relatively, easily for an end game player. Like if you wanted to build her with 1,000 resistance, you could. Obviously with help from Aura, obviously helps and all that stuff, but Mithrala is one of those champions that gives that kind of accessibility to, free to play or low spend players, or being able to get it from for free in the game. But Marius, I think I'm going to hold an even higher regard than Mithrala, because Marius brings all of the end game factors with him. He makes dungeon runs faster. He makes arena much better. He's such an insane champion. And honestly, his missions compared to somebody like Ramantu or even Lydia is actually much more accessible, given that he provides so much strength to you once you get him. He's not an easy champion to use or gear up, but if you can get him and can gear him up and meet some of these gear requirements, he is absolutely insane. Let's go over his kit real quick here. He's at A1, 35% booked up, 50% chance to place Enfeeble. So if you guys don't know what Enfeeble is, basically Enfeeble forces the champion with the debuff to only attack with weak hits. That's insane. So basically champions that, they can't place debuffs, they can't hit you hard anymore. Yeah, it's a 50% chance on an AoE on his A1. His A2, it's a triple hit on a 3-turn cooldown when fully booked. Each hit decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. So you potentially can reduce 3 turns off of buffs, basically taking them off. This is really good at taking off, for example, Stone Skin, anything that's not protected. And it's an enemy max HP slam based on defense and enemy max HP. So enemy max HP, if you guys don't know, usually scales off of crit damage. So here it's going to scale off of crit damage more than defense. But of course you want both, right? Again, 3-turn cooldown on this, triple hit, insanely powerful. Keep in mind that, for example, Newt, for example, has a 3-hit max HP hit, but his is on a 4-turn cooldown. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. Also, this ability actually has a relatively low multiplier. So for Marius to actually do really well with this, he needs incredible stats. His A3, 6-turn cooldown, books down to 4 turns. So you can kind of see here, total books, 7, 9 total books. Very reasonable for such an endgame champion. He self-buffs with increased accuracy, increased defense. And not only self-buff, he's going to actually give it to his whole team for 3 turns, which is, the higher end duration. And then he places a stun debuff on the enemy with the highest turn meter. So it basically shuts down the champions that's going to take the next turn. Finally grants an extra turn. So what you do is he basically buffs the whole team with his A3, and then you go into his AoE slam, which is insane. But one of the best things about Marius is actually his passive, which really shuts down a lot of champions. This champion is immune to turn meter reduction effects and decreased speed debuffs. So he basically cannot be stopped by turn meter reduction or decreased speed. And whenever an enemy changes form, so this counters mythical champions, which is very important, or attempts to decrease this champion's turn meter, counterattack using this champion's default skill. So the attempts to decrease the champion's turn meter really hurts a lot of spots. So for example, like Valkyrie's passive that is basically like global effect, it's going to really hurt her in that spot. For example, like Warlord's turn meter reduction against Marius is going to trigger his A1. But yeah, it happens very frequently, and it's actually crazy. Even something like Eagle Eye from the Mastery, if you trigger the decreased turn meter against Marius, you're going to get an A1 smack. And then if the smack lands an enfeeble on your damage dealer or a key debuffer, you're in for a world of hurt. Big defense in all battles as well. 35% better than most champions with the increased defense in all battles aura. Very high base defense as well, 1542. Very high base speed for a damage dealer, 110. Comes with a little bit of accuracy. Low crit damage though. So unfortunately missing the 63% crit damage rating, but you get a little bit of accuracy here. Can't really complain about his base stats, to be honest. They're very, very impressive overall. I'm going to show you guys where I use my Marius. Honestly, I'm use my Marius wherever I can use him, but one of the key spots is for live arena and arena. So that's one of the most fun places where you can actually use a well-built Marius. So let's put him to use here. Like I said, against Valkyrie, Valkyrie's passive is a big negative. Show you guys what I'm talking about here. Valkyrie's passive. This champion's turn meter will be increased by 10% each time an enemy takes a buff. Enemy champions will have their turn meters decreased by 10% for each buff they receive. So Marius receiving buffs will basically cause Valkyrie to decrease his turn meter, causing Marius to go with his A1 constantly. So Valkyrie getting hard countered here by the Marius. We're going to use Gurgle here for the decreased defense and the grip. And then we have Arman's here just for some control. And we're aiming to go first. So let's see what we can do here against Senda's team. 1 time speed for the cameras. Increase the turn meter boost. You can see there Valkyrie triggering the decreased turn meter on Marius, I think. Go. And let's shut down the UDK. All right. So we got the defense here. Increased defense. And then big slam. All right. Yep, so basically doing tons and tons of damage here. Get our turn back. Grip and CC, and then let's see if we can drop some enfeebles here. 1 enfeeble here on the Valkyrie. And yeah, just doing tons and tons of stuff. We got lots of control. We got freeze, we got stun, and then we got the Marius enfeeble. It's actually really, really insane. We don't need to finish off this fight, but just to show you guys how strong he is in a go first team, of course. Let's try again. Let's take a quick peek here. Let's go against the lockout team here. Again, like I said, against Warlord, if the Warlord drops a turn meter on Marius, Marius is going to use the A1 enfeeble. Against Mythicals, Marius is going to use the A1 against Mythicals that transform. So he is not afraid of Mythicals. We do get locked out, and then the A1 triggers here. But they are protected by their block buffs and stuff, so big slam, HP burns, big slam, very nasty stuff happening. 1 enfeeble off, enfeeble again. We need this Arbiter to survive. Don't think she's gonna survive. Nope. Alright, GG. Yeah, but we can kind of see how quickly and how frequently his A1 triggers against basically like Mythicals, right, in that situation. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Let's see what happens. Let's try it again. Not satisfied with that. But yeah, we basically get to see Marius in action against turn meter drops, against Mythicals. Basically the A1 spam is super, super strong. Sometimes the A1 can just like kill enemy nukers. Without him even needing to take a turn, really. Oof. Nasty. Big hit there. Oh, double enfeeble. Pretty good. Let's see if our mans couldn't take a turn. Feeble again. Oh, we see the A1 spam. It's going crazy. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty heavily protected, right? They got the shields and all that stuff to increase defense. It's hard for Marius to go through them without, basically able to take a turn. And of course, being locked out and all that stuff too. Still, you perform pretty good. Let's take a crack here at Rub Nades. Let's take a crack here with our Marius. Goes first. Turn. Boosting. Virgo's going to strip. A lot of protection, protective buffs and stuff there. Decrease defense, and we can shut down. Marius coming in here. Love of course, the self buff. Really, really strong. So he's always set up for the increased defense on himself. And yeah, we got the CP down, so now we just have to take care of these guys. At this point, PC show here going on. Controlling his team. Feebles? Oh, just A1 them dead. Yeah, so it works really well when you get a turn, obviously, but when we get locked out, it's not going to work out so well. All right, let's take a shot here at SC again. See, against the Tribune Faction Guardian. No, Faction Unity Champion here. We get a chance to go first. We're going to go Gurgo. Rip. Resisted here. That kind of sucks. Decrease defense. All right. And sheep. Nice. Then increase accuracy. I mean, you could even put Marius to go kind of like before debuffers, I guess, because he's kind of a debuffer that deals a lot of damage. Yeah, putting increased accuracy on himself is really good too, because it helps him with his decreased duration. Yeah, and then obviously enfeebles and all that stuff. Definitely needs it. Super, super strong champion. Great kit overall. And obviously a really nice champion to have in the arena. But this should be lights out here. Yeah, so that's it. All right, so where else do I use Marius? So Marius basically can work in any kind of team that requires you to hit the max HP against bosses. So for some dungeons, I definitely use Marius as well. So you guys can check out my Iron Twins team here. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I got 3 newts with Marius. That's a lot of damage, and a Kymar. But you guys can kind of see how an endgame team can make Marius work here. So he just makes a lot of these boss fights very, very easy. Obviously, if you don't have 3 newts, maybe you have 1 newt, and then the Marius is just as strong, right? Giving you basically another max HP option. But yeah, there it is. Yeah, so this is my main Iron Twins team, making it look easy, of course. Again, sticking with the dungeons, we're here in Sand Devil 25, so he is in here with the 2 newts as well. What's good about him is that he brings like a cruelty stack. Like, I don't have another cruelty blessing. I do have the 3 newts, but if you don't have the 3rd newt, you can bring in 2 plus Marius, and it's just going to be a really, really good time here. So again, he brings the cruelty stack, which I like, which helps, obviously reach the max damage thresholds. I see here. Comes in here with the big bashes. Usually it's an 11-second if we get lucky here with like a Giant Slayer, for example. In this case, there it is. So makes a Sand Devil really, really easy. But any dungeon that has the max HP requirement can be done very well with Marius. And here's my Shogun Grove team. I use 1 newt with Marius. I can definitely use like other teams, like 3 newts, Marius, and maybe Kymar would work. However, both my newts don't have any blessings, so I chose not to use them because it lowers the overall consistency of the run. So until I get more blessings on my newts, I'm gonna run this team, which is a little bit slower, but it's 100%. I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. Marius comes in here, big chunks off, of course, helping out the single newt here. And this is basically a team that, you know, if you have one newt, you can kind of put together. Of course, Kymar, and we got Kymar and Emic. Emic's a fusion. Kymar is just really strong. So yeah, so that's the team. Marius definitely very strong here. You can use a second newt as well, but he's really good as just kind of like a replacement here. But I use him here as well. Same idea here. We're going to bring the newts with Marius, and it basically enables a very clean kill against the spider. We don't need anything fancy. We don't need to change the builds. Like I said, this is how I use it. I know this is kind of like, oh, redundant, so many newts and all that stuff, but this is how I'm using Marius. And he basically can replace basically a newt, right? So you don't need all of this. And there's lots of different teams that can handle this content in similar fashion, like a 5-turn kill, for example. But let's see this in action first. Of course, full auto, we got it set up. We got AoE decreased defense is irresistible, so it's 100% land rate. And we got the newts here. Fortunately, this one's in relentless, so the relentless will maybe cause some small problems here and there. But it causes an extra turn, basically. Sometimes, yeah. So it did cause an extra turn, so we can try to do it again. But yeah, against Spider, there's many different ways to do it. Definitely don't need to use so many max HP hitters. Could be, yeah. 5 turns, very consistent. I mean, it could easily be like a 4-turn in some situations if I had like a 6-star Reaper, for example. But I don't. And just for fun, this is Nightmare Hydra right now. And yeah, he's insane in Hydra as well. Obviously, max HP damage. He's going to be dealing lots of damage against the Hydra heads. The higher difficulty, the more damage his max HP will hit. And he just generally hits hard if you give him like a proper damage arena build and just put him into Hydra. He also, you know, if he has cruelty, he can land cruelty on all the heads as well. Also bringing buffs, increased defense, increased accuracy. Very strong. Very good with ally attackers. Very good with champions that have A1s that bring champions into attack with them. But yeah, let's just run it and then let's see what happens. He's very fun to watch. He has great animations, very quick. Yeah, let's see this. Just massive slam. Massive slam. We'll shut it down relatively quickly just to see how much damage he deals against some of these powerhouses here. Like we got Taras, we got Harima. We don't have like the best team here, like in terms of just like control or sustainability. Let's see how everybody does. Full auto, not doing anything too crazy. Kind of screwed there, but it's steel and like obviously the provoke, lack of provoke on this team. Right, scary stuff. Run might actually end here. It's not the best control team, right? We can strip stuff, and then there we go. We can strip a bunch of stuff. Gears giving us a little bit of a hard time as well. This is nightmare difficulty though, with a team that's definitely not optimized. There we go. Taras. Getting rid of the spearhead, that's a big deal. Oh, right. His turn meter drop, turn meter protection. Yeah. Triggering the A1 when the mischief healing stuff. Right, more steals. Yeah. Very good. Marius carrying. Big damage there. Like I said, he works really well with the ally attackers and the A1s with the ally attacks as well. Boom. Big hit. That was just the A1. Grip coming in pretty handy here. We actually don't have a provoke outside of Rima, but she doesn't have accuracy to land a provoke. All about killing speed with this team. Doing pretty good. It caught up in terms of damage per turn. Big slam there, 1 million. First Devour, yeah. So this is a fun team to watch, but basically Marius is an absolute monster. Basically all levels of content. We got PvP content monster, dungeon monster, Hydra monster. He could probably do really well in clan boss too, but of course he's going to be doing like extra turns and stuff, so it's going to be hard to keep him tuned up. But absolute monster in all level of content. Heals himself here. Let's shut it down. See how much damage the damage spread here is real quick. Marius is doing 19 million damage. That's 2/3 of the total damage here. Yeah, so you can kind of see he does insane amounts of damage. This is a really short run. It doesn't really showcase the rest of the champions really well. But he definitely can do really well for himself in Hydra for sure. Anyways, guys, this is my Marius here. He's built in Stone Skin and Lethal. I think it's probably just the best build that I can put him in. I think the best build overall might actually just be 9-piece Slayer gear. So if you guys are spenders and you guys have Slayer gear hanging around, I don't have any Slayer gear hanging around, unfortunately, but it is the best set for him because you get even more damage out of him from the 9-piece set, plus 30% chance to deal additional AoE damage. So yeah, and it obviously has the ignore defense, and then more turn meter fill, and then obviously good attack damage stats here, crit damage, speed, crit rate. So 9-piece Slayer set works perfectly for Marius, tons and tons of damage. I don't have it, unfortunately, or a good set of it. So if you have the Forge Pass, then that's going to be a good source of gear for you for Marius. In terms of overall blessings, Reaper works pretty good. Reaper works good. I like Cruelty here because I have a low star. But at 6 stars, you could take Crushing Rend, you could take Cruelty, you could take Reaper, you could take Reaper as well. But any kind of damage is good. I mean, you could even take like Polymorph if that's your jam. That works too. But Marius usually likes to go fast and first, so Polymorph might not get full value. But Marius can polymorph himself by placing the Enfeebles, of course. But yeah, so anyways, I got him in Lethal and Stone Skin. These are my total stats. Just make him fast, crit capped, good crit damage, as much defense as you can muster. I would prioritize crit damage over defense just to increase his max HP damage hit here. You guys can do it. In terms of accuracy, he does bring increased accuracy on himself, so you don't need like crazy high accuracies for him to do his debuffs and his strip or his duration decrease ability. However, I do have a little bit of a low accuracy on him. I would definitely prefer around 350 to 400 accuracy. I'm obviously low on the blessing, so I'm hoping for a higher blessing eventually. At the 5-star, you get plus 75 accuracy, so that's something to look forward to for me. Stone Skin is really important so that he can get a turn, so that he doesn't trigger other people's counterattacks and he dies or something weird like that. Otherwise, I think 9-piece Slayer set works really good just for like pure damage if you can squeeze them into super fast teams. Here are my masteries. Helm Smasher is the most important one, to be honest. You could take the Lasting Gifts for some increased duration on his buffs. You could take Cycle Magic for more A2 spams. Master Hexer to increase the duration of his debuffs is really good, like his Enfeeble, for example. And then take some accuracy for some additional accuracy for him. Additional stats for the Lure of Steel. Quickly show some of my pieces here for the build. Overall, I have probably some of my best defense-based gear on him, so definitely don't use this as like early game build. Just something to look forward to in the super end game. Yeah, I mean, I love this champion. When I play live arena, he's basically like my top DPS champion now, even though I have like, I have 6-star Rotos, I have a 6-star Taras, for example. But I use Marius. Marius is just that good. And to me, like, he's definitely proven that he's probably the best free champion available in the game that you can actually get through progress missions. His missions, of course, are not easy, but I think they're easier than Ramontu and easier than Lydia, actually, to some extent. He's probably not easier than Mithrala, because Mithrala, you can kind of make it work, like even on the super low, like the low difficulty, you can still get Mithrala. Mithrala is massive. Like, to me, Mithrala was number one best free champion in the game that you can get. But I think Marius actually takes that spot from her now because of how strong he is. And like I said, like I showed in this video, he is everywhere and at a really, really high level. Nightmare Hydra, top end PvP, all dungeons. Like these are super speed dungeons, and he slots in there as well in some of the hardest dungeons. Definitely, if you guys don't have him, work towards him. I'm going to be making a video in the future about the Marius missions to help you guys get through them. For me, I didn't really speed through the Marius missions because I felt like I didn't want to spend like thousands of energy on a quest, for example. I tried to double dip whenever I could just to conserve energy and be efficient. But yeah, after watching some playtests on this guy, I was like, wow, this guy's incredible. I have to get him. And then I basically decided just to like full steam ahead and get this guy. And definitely not disappointed. And I don't think you guys will be too. Once you guys get your hands on him, you guys will definitely make use of him. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this was informative. Best of luck on getting your Marius, of course. Hopefully you guys can make use of him as much as I have since I've got him. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching again. Appreciate your time as always. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Do you have Marius yourself? How do you build him, and what do you use him for? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you, and I'll see you guys in the next one.